everybody doing this evening? Back again with another video for you guys and gals. And tonight, what I have for everyone is my full review of the Pixel 2 XL. Alright, I've been using this bad boy for a good amount of time, and I feel like I've gathered all my thoughts and opinions on it, and I'm going to share it with you guys and gals in this review this evening. And hopefully by the end of this video, you guys and gals know if this device is still worth picking up even here in 2020. So let's get started. Alright, starting off, the first thing I want to talk about with you guys and gals is the overall build quality and design of this device. Now, build quality wise, this device was manufactured by LG in collaboration with Google. Alright, and I have to say, in terms of the build quality, it's built out of aluminum and glass. So we got our aluminum unibody right here with our glass portion across the top here. And then in front, we got our display with our dual front-facing speakers. And in terms of the overall build quality, I have to say LG has done a great job here. This actually feels very solid in the hand, and it has a very nice weight to it. So overall, the build quality on this is top notch, and I'm actually a big fan of this painted metal. It kind of gives it like a matte feel to it. I think it's really, really nice. Now, in terms of the overall design, I do like this overall design as well. This is what I would consider to be a functionalist / utilitarian design. So when you pick this device up, you know what it's for and you know what you're going to use it for. Really, overall, I like this design. So top-notch marks when we talk about the overall build quality and design of the Pixel 2 XL. Alright, so the next thing I want to talk about with you guys and gals is I want to dive a little bit deeper into this display. Now, as y'all can see, up front, dead center here, we have a 6-inch POLED 2K display with a resolution of 2880 by 1440p, and this is a 18:9 aspect ratio 6-inch display, giving it a screen density of 538 pixels per inch. For you guys and gals that like to know the technical specifications, there you have it. Now, talking about this display in terms of day-to-day performance, I have to say this is a really, really solid display, and I haven't had any issues aside from the touch responsiveness on the curves. But there is a way to eliminate those touch responsive issues. Other than that, the overall performance of the display in terms of day-to-day performance has been top-notch. Now, I just want to go through how you would fix the touch responsiveness on your curved display. Let's go through this little pro tip real quick. So the first thing you will want to do is dive into the settings on your device and go into About Device and tap your build number 10 times to unlock developer options, right? Then inside of developer options, let's navigate to it so y'all know exactly where to go. You would go to System, you would go to Advanced, and you would go to Developer Options. Then inside Developer Options, you want to scroll down till you see Display Width. Alright, and then we're going to change the display width on the device. Now, one of the reasons why we're changing the display width, the smallest width, is because that will help us fix the touch responsiveness of the overall display, and you want to push it till it expands to the whole display so you don't get those touch responsive issues. So you could see I've changed my smallest width to a customized number that I feel fixes those touch responsiveness issues from the curved display. After you do that, I would also recommend you dive into the settings again and you go to the display settings here, and you want to just go into Advanced, and you want to customize your overall text size. Alright, make it a little bit easier to work with. And then you want to customize your overall display size all together. You see I have mine set to large along with that custom display size, and that to me fixed the display responsiveness issues. So quick little pro tip there. Other than that, the overall display on this device is top notch. So LG did a really great job with this display, and I haven't had any issues aside from the one I just showed y'all how to fix. Alright, so moving on now, let's dive a little bit deeper into the hardware and the software on this device. Let's start off with the hardware first. Now, in terms of the hardware on the Pixel 2 XL, it comes in two RAM storage configurations, and I indeed have the base model configuration here. The base model configuration comes with 4 gigs of RAM and 64 gigs of onboard storage with no micro SD card expansion, and it also comes with a 3520 milliamp hour battery on board. Okay, now the max configuration comes with 4 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of onboard storage. Okay, and I would actually always recommend for devices that don't have micro SD card expansion like this one, y'all go with the max storage variant available to you. Alright, so those little nuggets of hardware right there. Other hardware includes, this device does pack in USB Type-C, and it does support fast charging through your direct power delivery. Okay, if you don't use a direct power delivery charger, then its max charging rate is stuck at 10 watts. Okay, other than that, it does support a capacitive, always active fingerprint sensor on the rear, as y'all can see. And I gotta tell y'all, the fingerprint sensor on this device is pretty much perfect. It's accurate basically 99% of the time, as y'all can see here, and I've had no issues with the fingerprint sensor. So fingerprint sensor speed should not be a problem. Let me show y'all again. Tap and we write in. Alright, good stuff there. Other hardware includes, on the rear of this device, we have a 12 megapixel camera, which has a maximum recording resolution of up to 4K at 30 FPS. It can also record in 240 frames per second, 720p slow motion, and 1080p at 120 frames per second slow motion, and do 1080p 60 and 1080p 30 as well via the stock Google camera app. Now, you do have the ability to unlock 720p 30 and 720p 60 video recording, but it's not available via the stock camera app on the Pixel 2 XL. Okay, so you will need to sideload a third-party camera app via the Play Store or other means to unlock 720p recording on this device. Kind of funny how Google eliminated that in their stock camera app. I don't know why they did that, but it is what it is. Alright, so that's the rear-facing 12 megapixel camera right there. Flipping it over to the front, we have that 6-inch POLED Gorilla Glass 5 display, the dual front-facing speakers, which we're going to expand upon a little bit later on in the video, and an 8 megapixel front-facing camera, which maxes out at a recording resolution of 1080p 30 FPS. Alright, now jumping in deeper to some more internals, this bad boy is packing the Qualcomm Snapdragon 835 octa-core processor and the Adreno 540 GPU. So this is a flagship processor on board on this device, and this device is also packing the IP67 water resistance. So you can fully submerge this device in up to 3 feet of water for 30 minutes. So that's 3 feet or 1 meter of water for 30 minutes, and it should be fine. Alright, now I think that pretty much covers the hardware on this device. Now let's go ahead and dive into the software, and I'm going to give y'all my thoughts on the overall software performance. Alright, now software wise, this device is running Android 10.0 with the latest May 5th security patch on board. And I gotta tell y'all, in terms of the software, this bad boy is fluid, snappy, and I haven't had any issues whatsoever with the onboard software. And that's even with a bunch of apps open in the background. No issues whatsoever with this device. And I was pleasantly surprised because on average, I use anywhere from 17 to 21 apps daily. And I'm used to seeing that little app hiccup, app stutter, or the occasional app crash. And I haven't experienced any of that on this Pixel 2 XL device. So really, this cements for me my overall philosophy that I've been talking about for a while now, What really should matter to us as the end consumer is the overall combination and optimization between the hardware and software, which should equate to an overall smooth and fluid user experience, which is something I feel this device delivers. Alright, so in terms of the software, from a day-to-day performance aspect, I have to say Google has done a top-notch job in my opinion. Alright, that being said, I do want to show y'all another quick little pro tip. A few people I've noticed are a little bit concerned about checking their software version and or checking their security patch because they don't like the fact that it reveals a lot of sensitive information. Well, if you're on a Pixel device or a stock Android device, there's a way to check for security patches or check for software updates without revealing your sensitive information. So you can check for that without revealing your phone number and or your IMEI, okay? And I'm going to show y'all how to do that right now. So way number one, and this is actually one of the easiest, if you want to check the software version, you dive into the settings, you go down to system, and then you go to advanced, and you tap on system updates right here. And once you do that, it will automatically scan for a new update, and it will tell you your software version and your security patch level and the last time you scanned for a security update. So this is one of the perfect ways to see what version of Android you're running and your security patch level. And nowadays on Android, it's not so much about the software and features as it is about the overall security, in my opinion. Alright, so that's way number one right there. Shout out to the Telegram group, okay, and Tech for Your Needs right there. Now, way number two is if you dive back into the settings here and you go to security, this is a more precise way to see your security for the device itself and the security for the Play Store, and or check both of those for updates just by tapping on them. Okay, so those are two quick ways that you can check the software version on your device and or check for the latest security patch without revealing sensitive information on your device. So quick little pro tip right there as well. Now that pretty much goes over the software and the hardware on the Pixel 2 XL. Now in my opinion, in regards to the hardware, I would just say it's really good. Now I took off some points because we did lose out on the 3.5 millimeter headphone jack and micro SD card expansion, and this device doesn't come with wireless charging for this generation. Those are three features that I use on a daily basis, so that downgraded the hardware on this device from top notch to really good in my opinion. But in terms of the overall software and experience, it's top notch in my opinion. Alright, so that goes over the hardware and the software. Now, let's go ahead and talk about the onboard Wi-Fi and its performance. Now, Wi-Fi wise, this device is packing dual band Wi-Fi. So that means we have access to our 2.4 gigahertz band and our 5 gigahertz band Wi-Fi respectively, as long as we have a router and or modem that lets us take advantage of that. And I gotta say, in terms of the Wi-Fi performance, I haven't had any issues. As y'all can see right here, general Wi-Fi performance has been great, and there has been no problems with all of the networks that I have tested. Alright, and the same thing goes for the LTE performance. Now I've tested the LTE on T-Mobile, AT&T, and Verizon, and here are some of my stats. And you can see the LTE performance is just as good as the overall Wi-Fi performance. Alright, now what I want to do is give y'all a real-time Wi-Fi performance test. This real-time Wi-Fi performance test will also double as a speaker test as well, so y'all will get to hear how these speakers perform. So let's go ahead and max out the speakers. Alright, let me go ahead and turn the Bluetooth off because I was rocking some Bluetooth earbuds before I decided to record this video. So let's turn that off. And now let's max out the speakers, make sure it's maxed out. And now let's jump into YouTube. And we got a copyright-free music pulled up. And we're going to let this play for a little bit so y'all can hear how the speakers sound. Alright, let me rest this down Let me grab one of my phone stands real quick so I don't have to hold the device the whole time. And we're going to go ahead and set this up. Now for reference, the mic is right here. It's slightly off camera, but you can't really see it. You can kind of see the tip of it right there, and it's less than a foot away from the device. Okay, so you should really get a nice high quality audio sample when we test out these speakers and do the Wi-Fi performance test, just so y'all know what to expect there. So let's move this a little closer right there, and then let's go ahead and push play. Now what this test is going to consist of, we're going to play the speakers for a little bit to give y'all a nice audio sample. Then we're going to scrub through the video to check the overall Wi-Fi performance. And then I'm going to let y'all know my overall opinions on the speaker placement and the speaker performance. So let's get started, and I'm going to stop talking now. Okay, real quick speaker test. Now let's go up through the video and check the Wi-Fi performance. Okay, so real quick Wi-Fi performance test, real quick speaker test as well. Let me take this out of here. Now, what are my overall thoughts on these speakers and its overall performance? Well, overall, I would say the speakers on this device are good. Now, they're not the best I've seen because they have a tendency to be a little quiet unless you're rocking them at max volume or close to max volume. But other than that, the overall performance with these front-facing speakers are pretty good in my opinion. Not the best, but pretty good. Alright? That being said, I am a big fan of this speaker placement. Front-firing speakers are definitely the way to go, and it's something that I definitely prefer. So top-notch marks going out for the speaker placement, and overall performance is really good. Okay? Now, moving on, let's now talk about the overall LTE and its supported bands. Now, one thing I want to emphasize is that this is a globally unlocked device. So as long as your carrier supports any or all of the bands that we're getting ready to showcase and talk about, you should be good to go. And me, myself, as I said, I tested it on AT&T, no problems. I tested it on Verizon, no problems. And I tested it on T-Mobile, no problems. I do not have a Sprint SIM at this time. Alright? But let's show y'all these stats real quick. And as long as you have, or your carrier has, supports for these bands, you should be good to go. Let's pull it up. Alright? So y'all can see, as long as your carrier supports these bands right here, let me open it up, you should be good to go. So this has all of the bands except for the band 71. So in terms of LTE and coverage, you should be good to go. And this is one of the reasons why I actually push and are a big advocate for globally unlocked devices because that gives you the freedom to go with whatever plan you would like and whatever carrier you would like. And another neat thing about this device is that it also has dual SIM card support via one electronic SIM and one physical nano SIM. So you do have dual SIM support on your Pixel devices. Really good stuff in my opinion. Alright? So in terms of bands and overall LTE, you should be good to go. Good stuff indeed. Alright? Now let's keep it rocking here. Up next, let's now talk about the Bluetooth and the overall Bluetooth performance. Now, Bluetooth wise, this device is packing Bluetooth 5.0 on board, and this is another area where I think this device performed pretty much perfectly, and I haven't had any issues with the overall Bluetooth in my opinion. And I'm sure you guys have noticed, if you checked out any of my most recent videos, I showcase this device and use it a lot for my headphone testing and or my earbud testing. So that should be an even more demonstration of how good the overall Bluetooth is on this device. So overall Bluetooth performance is top notch in my opinion, and here's a list of some of the devices that I've connected to this Pixel 2 XL, and they all work without issue. So good stuff in my opinion. Top notch performance, especially if you're trying to live that hashtag wireless lifestyle. So good stuff. Alright, let's keep it moving. Up next now, let's talk about the overall GPS performance, and let me pull up my latest screenshot for you guys and gals before we talk about it here. So you can see I have the latest GPS screenshot pulled up, and y'all, honestly, I gotta tell y'all, in terms of the GPS performance, this device pretty much performs perfectly, and it's another top-notch performance in my opinion. So if you're using the GPS for turn-by-turn navigation, geocaching, and geotagging, you should be good to go. Alright? And this is very important because I'm the type of person that relies heavily on my GPS on a day-to-day basis. So the fact that it performs without issue is top-notch in my opinion. So good stuff when we talk about the overall GPS performance. Alright? Now, the next thing I want to talk about with you guys and gals is the overall call quality and speaker call quality on this device. Alright? Now, as I said, and I'm sorry to keep reiterating this, but I've actually used this device on 3 of the 4 major carriers. And one of the things that y'all want to keep in mind with call quality and speaker call quality is that it's very carrier dependent. Okay, it's about 75% the carrier, and another percentage or small percentage has to do with your location and the overall carrier coverage, and then about 25% of that has to do with the actual physical hardware on the device. Alright, and I gotta tell y'all, in terms of call quality and speaker call quality, it has been an overall enjoyable experience, and I haven't had any issues. So whether I was taking calls with the onboard receiver or the onboard speaker, it was very crisp, clear, and loud, and overall it was a top-notch experience in my opinion. Alright? Now, moving along, let's dive into my overall opinions on these cameras. Now, for me, I judge cameras on 3 different criteria. Okay? Point and shoot photo performance, point and shoot video capture capabilities, and audio capture capabilities. Alright? And I gotta say, in terms of 2 of these categories, this device did a great job to pretty good job. One of these categories, it kind of fell a little flat, but let's talk about that now. And if you want a more in-depth look and an expanded conversation on the cameras, feel free to check out my overall camera performance video. I'll link it up above, and I'll also link it down below in the video description for y'all to check out and then come back and finish watching the full review. But talking about the overall photo capture capabilities, the Pixel devices are second to none, and this device is no exception. So 9 times out of 10, when I pulled the device out of my pocket to take a photo, it was very point and click, and 9 times out of 10, I got a really good image. Whether it be a selfie or a regular primary shot, or a portrait mode shot, I got a really great image 9 times out of 10. So that just leads me to believe that Google's selection of the hardware and their combination of the software and the computational photography kind of pushes this camera to the next level, at least when we talk about the photo performance and the point and shoot capabilities. This is extremely user friendly in my opinion when we talk about taking photos. So top notch when we talk about the overall photo capture capabilities. Now, up next, talking about the video capture capabilities, this is where I feel this device fell a little bit short, okay? In lower lighting scenarios or less than adequate lighting, you can definitely see this camera's detail struggle and its focusing speed struggle. That being said, as long as you're mindful of the lighting, you can get some decent footage out of this device. So that's probably the sore spot for this device, is the overall camera performance for taking videos. Now, where I was pleasantly surprised was the audio capture capabilities of this device, because again, we don't have a 3.5mm headphone jack, so if I did want to expand on the audio and or make it better, I will have to plug in that dongle and live that dongle lifestyle, and your boy ain't gonna do it. So that being said, I was pleasantly surprised by the overall audio capture capabilities, and as long as you're not in too windy of situations, you should be able to get some really good audio from these microphones. So really good stuff in my opinion. So the overall cameras, in my opinion, is really good. Okay? Now, moving on, talking about the gaming and my overall experience with the gaming. Again, this device did a great job, and I was not surprised. Overall gaming performance with graphically intensive games went off without a hitch, and I didn't have any issues aside from a slight heating issue after extended gameplay sessions of about 35 to 45 minutes. Now again, if you want a more in-depth look on the gaming performance of this device, I do have a dedicated gaming performance video, which I'll link up in the cards and link down below in the video description for you guys and gals to check out. Okay, then you can come back to this video and let me know what you think. Leave your feedback down below. As always, all feedback is appreciated. Alright, so the gaming performance was top notch and the cameras are really good. Now, moving on, the next thing I want to do is I want to briefly run through the overall synthetic benchmark scores on this device. Then we're going to talk about the overall battery life and the charge times. Then we're going to wrap this video up. We're going to talk about the pricing, and I'm going to get into my overall final thoughts and a recommendation or two. So let's briefly run through these benchmarks quick, fast, and in a hurry. Let me pull it up so y'all can see it. Alright, now talking about the benchmarks, we have a nice collection of benchmarks here. So starting off with the 3D Mark benchmark test, the slingshot test, we have a 3,634 for the OpenGL ES and a 3,250 for the Vulcan Slingshot Extreme testing. So really good stuff in my opinion. Jumping over to Antutu, I was pretty much expecting this. It scored a 226,388, and you can see the individual score breakdown there. So overall, it did a great job. Okay, flagship chip, I would expect nothing less. Okay, jumping over to Geekbench 5, you can see the single core score. It got a 362. Multi-core score, it got a 1,555. Not bad at all. Okay, compute test, you can see it scored a 376. Now, jumping into the older benchmarks, for the Volemo Metal test, it pretty much maxed out the test, scoring a 3,236. Good stuff. And for the multi-core test, this is probably the highest score I've seen on this test since I've started running it. it scored a 4,740. So pretty much maxed out the multi-core performance test for Velemo. Alright, and now for my all-time favorite benchmark, we got the Disco Mark multitasking benchmark. And as the name implies, this benchmark gives you the ability to load up any and all apps on your device, and it will give you a brief breakdown as to how long the device took to open those set apps and through a set number of times. So you can see the individual app load up times right there, and you can see the overall run through time right there. And that is probably one of the fastest times I've seen since I started using this benchmark. So you can see it scored a 3.568 seconds. And on average, as I said earlier, I use anywhere from 17 to 21 apps on the daily. So that really is an overall good score or good time in my opinion. Alright, so let's keep it moving, and I do believe that runs through all of the benchmarks. Let's keep it moving now, y'all. Now, let's get into the overall battery life and the overall charge times. Now, one thing that I want to mention before we get into this is from an extremely heavy user perspective, and your results may vary. Okay? Once we got that out the way, let's go ahead and get into this. Now, on average, with heavy usage, I can make it to the end of the day with about 5 to 10% remaining. But that really is kind of a struggle for me. And on most days, I find myself having to charge the device one additional time to get through the day with my style of heavy usage. Now, putting that into perspective for y'all, and again, feel free to pause and check out the screenshots that you see on the screen. On average, I'm getting anywhere from 5.5 hours of on-screen time to about 8.5 hours of on-screen time with my style of heavy usage. And in my opinion, this is what I would call average flagship battery life. Can it be better? Yes. But for what it is, it pretty much stacks up side by side with all of the flagships of the past and all of the modern flagships of today. Okay? Now, it's not holding the candle to something like the Moto G Power series or anything from the Redmi lineup with a big battery, but it's pretty much average flagship battery life. And if you're a light to moderate user, then you're easily going to be able to get through the day, if not a day and a half. Alright, so good stuff right there. Not the best, I would actually say it's okay, but it is what it is. Could definitely be better. Alright, so that goes over the overall battery life. Now, talking about the overall charge times, this is pretty much the same in my opinion as well. This one lines up almost mark for mark with the charge times of the first generation Pixel XL. So with the direct power delivery charger, we're averaging a full charge in anywhere from an hour and 50 minutes to 2.5 hours. Okay, now with an average charger, not a direct power delivery charger, then we're averaging 2.5 hours to 3.5 hours to reach a full charge. Now, if you don't charge this device to full, then we're averaging anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour to reach your desired charge percentage. And one thing that I want to show y'all real quick is that this is a used good condition device. So after I cycled the battery, we can indeed get the battery health and the overall percentage there. So y'all can see the health is at 86%. And out of that 3520 milliamp hour battery, we're actually still have access to 3,1200, okay, or 30112, okay, milliamps. So that's about 86%. And honestly, for a used device, this is actually really good battery health. But this is definitely something you want to keep in mind if you're picking up used or refurbished devices, especially Android devices, because typically when they get to anywhere between 75 and 80%, you will start to see the battery degradation pretty heavily, and you may want to consider doing a battery swap or upgrading to a new device. So I just wanted to show y'all that there. But overall charge times was about what I was expecting. Alright? So, okay stuff there. Alright, So that goes over the charge times, and that goes over the overall battery life. Again, if that was pretty quick, feel free to rewind and pause to see the screenshots that I'll have up in post. Alright, now let's keep it moving. And now we've reached the end of this video, and I want to talk to you guys about the pricing and give y'all my overall final thoughts and a recommendation or two. Now, I picked this up via Amazon, and as I said, I picked it up in, I believe, used, good condition. And I have to say, for that price, I paid about, what, $165 for it after tax, and that includes the case. I have the screenshot up in post, so y'all know exactly what I paid for this one, because we're all about keeping it straight 100 around here. That being said, for that price point, can I recommend this device? Well, yes and no. Yes, if you're looking for a stock Android device with really good cameras, and you want to make sure that you get pretty much regular security patch updates, and you're okay with customizing your device from the ground up, then yes, I could recommend that you pick this one up. Okay, for that $165, it's pretty good. You can't go wrong with this. No, if you're looking for a device with better battery life, then you could definitely look elsewhere. Okay, there are tons of devices on the market that are going to get you a lot better battery life than this, and get you similar camera performance and even better video performance as well, and incorporate some must-have features like a 3.5mm headphone jack and micro SD card expansion. So the choice is yours at the end of the day. It really does come down to what you want to spend your money on, and as I always say, this is just my overall opinion, and everybody is entitled to their own opinion. Alright? So, I hope you guys and gals enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy this video, y'all know what to do. Please help your boy out by giving the video a thumbs up. That really does help me out. You don't know how much. If y'all would like to see more content like this, also feel free to hit the subscribe button down below, and make sure you click off the bell right next to it so you guys and gals get notified when I publish new videos. As always, if this video piqued your interest, all the links to where you can pick up this device and any and all featured accessories will be available down below in the video description, as well as my expanded coverage on this device. So as always, if your interest is piqued, down below in the video description will be like a one-stop shop for you guys and gals, and you should be good to go. And those links down below are affiliate links, so I do get a small percentage of kickback that I do put back into the channel to bring you guys and gals more content at no additional cost to you guys. So I would really appreciate it if you use those links. And also, I wanted to let y'all know that donations are available on the channel. There are links in the About page on my YouTube page if y'all want to donate to the channel, so y'all can keep content coming in on a regular basis. Now, I'm not too big on pushing donations and things of that nature. I would rather save y'all money and just get a small percentage of kickback when y'all use my affiliate links, but donations are there if you are feeling generous. Alright, this whole video was recorded using the rear-facing 12-megapixel camera on the Samsung Galaxy S7. I was about to say active, but no, this is the regular S7, and this was recorded in 720p resolution at 30 frames per second, okay? And we are using the Movo MA2010 omnidirectional microphone to record the audio. So please let me know what you think of the overall video quality, as well as what you think of the overall audio quality down below in the comments. As always, all feedback is welcome. And let me know if you have the Pixel 2 XL or any Pixel device, how you are enjoying it, and what are some features you think Google did a great job on, and what are some features you feel they need to improve upon. Let's get into a nice, respectful conversation down below in the comments. As always, keep it respectful, please. Alright? I hope everyone has a great evening. Y'all stay safe out there, and I will catch you guys and gals in my next video. Peace, everyone. We are out of here.